Thank you so much. What I'm going to do is that I'll do a presentation first. The presentation will be in 2 sessions. So I will talk about the whole system of solfege and solmization and all that. Then if you have questions, we will go into the second part of the presentation, and that will address all your questions. So if you have questions on everything we are going to talk about, that will be the time you will ask. So if you have a piece of paper or if you have a writing pad, anything with which you can write. If you can write, okay, I'm still admitting people. Anything with which you can write, a pencil, a pen, a paper, or something, then we go through. Now, I understand that we have beginners on the platform, and then we have pros, professionals who have been practicing music for a long time now. I understand we have different people online right now, but I am going to take my time to go through the whole process of solmization, solfege, so that every one of you will understand. So if you know something already, but I still go ahead to mention it, it is for the benefit of some others. Currently, we have about 23 people online, which is very encouraging. I'm still seeing a lot of people coming in. So what we are going to do is that I am going to start a presentation, and I will share my screen. So you will see the presentation on your screen. I know that there are first-time users around. I mean, those who are using Zoom for the first time. So I will try as much as possible to let you in on what I am doing at every point in time, so you understand. The topic of solfege, it is very important. It is very, very important. You know, one thing I have learned as a musician who playing different instruments is that if you really understand solfege, that whole system of solfege, if you understand it, you can easily switch instruments. As I said in the other video, you can easily switch instruments, and you can easily add some other instruments. So without much ado, I am going to go straight into the presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, I am going to switch to give you the screen. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'll start the presentation on solfa notation, on solfege. I believe everyone can see my screen now. This is everything we are about to do now. So the whole presentation is on the magic of solfege, what we call solfege in music. So these are the objectives of the presentation.
Please, are we allowed to ask questions intermittently, or you are supposed to finish the presentation?
I will prefer if the presentation ends and then we have a question and answer session where I'll address all the issues you have.
Because some of us are novices, so the solfege and thing you talked about, we don't really have any idea.
Okay, don't worry. I'm going to begin from the scratch, so don't worry. We are now going to look at the objectives and all that. Then we start the presentation proper. So don't.
All right, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm getting a lot of questions at the same time, so let's hold on with the questions if we can write the questions. But I'll take my time as much as possible to go through everything slowly so that we'll all understand. First of all, let's talk about sound. Sound, because music is basically a combination of sounds, various sounds we hear, and then silence. The silence is as good as the sound. Everything you hear is sound. And then we also hear silence. That is the absence of sound. Now listen to this. In the whole world, as we do our music and everything we do, there are 2 major types of sound. 2. Every sound you hear, no matter where you are hearing the sound from, no matter how you are hearing it, all sounds we hear can be categorized into 2. We can group all sounds into 2. The first one, we have definite sounds. And then the second one, we have indefinite sounds. And I'm going to explain. Now, definite sounds are those sounds in simple terms. I understand I'm not going to look at it from the physics point of view. So we have 2. Now, the definite sounds, these are the examples. For instance, when somebody is playing the piano, all the sounds you hear from the piano, they are definite sounds. For instance, the human voice singing, when the human voice is singing, Mary had a little lamb, it is a definite sound, or the music is made up of definite sounds. When you are driving and the car hoots the horn, when you hear the car horn, they are all definite sounds. Then we have, okay, then we have indefinite sounds. Indefinite sounds. And these are the indefinite sounds. For instance, when you pick a piece of paper and you are crumpling the paper,
Like this.
those are indefinite sounds. When the human voice is talking,
Okay.
basically when I'm talking, as you can hear me, it is basically it's made up of indefinite sounds. Now, when you visit the washroom and you flush and the water is going, that sound you hear, it is indefinite. So for now, let us break everything down and say that music, what we are interested in is the definite sounds. We are currently interested in the definite sounds, the sounds that will help us in making music. So for now, let us take it that in all the world, there are two major types of sounds, definite sounds and indefinite sounds. Let us move on.
Indefinite.
Now,
Okay, sir.
there are two qualities of sound that respond to high or low command, and I will explain. For instance, when we say the volume is too high, please lower it. As you can see from my screen, the volume is too high, please lower it. It means that your volume or the sound that you are hearing, it is too loud, so bring it down. So this is one quality of sound that responds to high or low. In other words, when we say your music is too high, bring it down, it is either we are talking about volume or we are talking about pitch. And I'm going to explain. When somebody says the volume is too high, lower it, it means we are talking about the volume. And in music, it is something we call dynamics. In music, it's something we call vocal dynamics, and I will explain. I don't want to bore you with jargons because that is not the reason why we are here. But ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about two qualities of sounds that respond to high or low command, we are talking about volume and we are talking about pitch. Now, the volume is just how, let me move on to the next slide. This is vocal dynamics. It simply refers to how loud or soft the sound is, and that refers to volume. So when I say your volume is too high or your volume is too low, I'm talking about vocal dynamics, whether it is on the keyboard, whether it is on the guitar, whether it's on the saxophone. If the sound is too loud and it has to come down, we are talking about volume. If it is too low and it has to come up, or it is too soft and it has to be louder, we are talking about volume. Now, volume is measured in decibels, dB for short. So that is what is in red, decibels. Volume is measured in decibels and it is dB. Now look at the next slide. Pitch and frequencies. Now, pitch basically refers to the value of sound in terms of frequency. When somebody also says, can you make the pitch go higher, please? It looks like it is too low. This time, we are not talking about volume going up or down, but we are talking about the pitch. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we want to understand more because this is the area our presentation is going. We are going to talk a lot about pitch because when we are talking about solfege, solfege has to do a lot with pitch, differences in pitch. So we have high pitch, low pitch, mid pitch, and all that. As I said, I'm not going to bore you with technical jargons and all the technicalities. We just have to understand what we are doing. So first of all, I am saying that there are two types of sound. As a musician, as an instrumentalist, whether you want to sing, you want to play, there are two types of sounds. We have the regular sound, the definite sounds, and then we have the indefinite sounds. As musicians, we are more interested in the definite sounds, and I am going to explain why we are more interested in the definite sounds. So as musicians, when we are making music, when we are playing the keyboard, playing any instrument, most of the time we are making definite sounds with the exception of certain percussions. For instance, if you are a drummer and you play the cymbal, psh, that sound you are listening to psh, from the cymbal, it is indefinite. Though we are also interested in that as musicians when it comes to rhythm making. But for now, we are going to dwell more on definite sounds. Now, when it comes to definite sounds, there are qualities of those definite sounds that respond to high or low. And when you say volume no was it means that your volume, the music that is playing, it is either too loud, so make it soft, or it is either too soft, make it louder. And that is a quality of music that responds to low or high. Again, pitch. Pitch also responds to low or high, just like volume. But they are two very different things. They are two very different things. Pitch will refer to different frequencies, and I'm going to explain that very soon. As I said, volume is measured in decibels, dB, but pitch is measured in hertz, and that is what you see right here. Pitch is measured in hertz, and pitch will also respond to high and low. Now look at the next slide. Look at this. The 12 standardized frequencies. Now, the physics of sound, they have made us understand that every sound, every definite sound in the world, sounds are say oh Bobby bia sound if you are singing, the sound that comes, if you are playing the keyboard, the piano, the sound that comes, if you are playing the guitar, the saxophone, all the sounds have been classified into 12 groups or 12. Now this is what I mean. The 12 standardized frequencies. 12 standardized frequencies. And this is where we are going to. That is why I'm taking my time to do this. Now, these 12 frequencies, they have names. And this is what I am going to talk about. Every frequency in music will give you a particular sound. A particular sound. Every frequency in music will give you a particular sound. Now, physics has made that to understand that every sound, all the sounds you hear, the definite sounds, you can put every one of them in one of the 12. In other words, every music you will hear, if you should break the song down, whether it's the melody or it is you, I mean, every one of them, you will get them to fit into one of the 12 frequencies. Now, frequencies, they are just numbers. I don't want to go into those technical things. Frequency is just the number of times something occurs. The number of times something occurs. And all sounds have frequencies, but let me not go into that. I'm going into what we are interested in. So in music, all these frequencies, they will give you a particular note. Ladies and gentlemen, to make music easier for everybody, this thing called solmization, others call it solmization, others say solmization. Any of them is fine. This thing called solmization is very important. Listen to this. Solmization basically refers to a system of naming pitches where specific syllables are assigned to them for easy identification and vocalization. And I am going to explain this to you, what it means. Now, when you talk about solmization, every pitch that you hear, every sound that you hear, we can assign a specific syllable to that sound. And I am going to explain that in a moment. Now, solmization is simply assigning syllables to the sounds you hear so that when you hear those sounds again, you can easily recognize them. Now, solmization has different types, and I have just given you 3. We have swara, which is actually from India. It is their own way of assigning syllables with certain tones. So, it is any nipa yama edin. Onipa biya wo din. Edin no, eboya miehu se weini ena weini. We de Kofi, we de Kwame. Omu nyina ye mema. Se wo dane wani na so omo nhwe ho mpa. O ka se Kofi a ni odi Kofi no nim se wo ena mefrɛ wo. Ni odi Kwame ne so frɛ na nim se we na mefrɛ no. So that is how sound is. There are different types of sound. You can do ah, 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 ah. These are all sounds. And all these sounds can fit into the 12 sounds of music. In other words, in music, the sounds for making music, they are 12. I'm talking about the definite sounds. I don't want to go into what we call microtones because for the purpose of this presentation, microtones is not relevant. So I'll not talk about microtones. So I am talking about the 12 standardized frequencies or the 12 standardized pitch. Sounds are making only 12, and I will explain that in a bit. So all these 12 sounds, we give them syllables. So when you go to India, this is one of them, swara. Swara, they tell you that these syllables we have assigned to the notes. So one of the notes, all the 12 notes, one of the notes, we call it sa. Another note, we call it re. The other, we call it ga. The other, we call it ma. The other is ha. The other is da. And another one is ni. Now, all these are syllables. Syllables. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. All these are syllables that we assign to tones, but this is not what we are interested in. This is widely used in India. We have another style, the Byzantine, where they also assign pa, vu, ga, di, ke, zo, ni. All these. But our interest is on solfege. And ladies and gentlemen, solfege is simply do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Now, remember, I have told you that the sounds are 12, but I have only 7 here. I will explain to you why I have only 7 syllables, but I am saying they are 12. So this is basically what I have said so far. We are talking about music, and we are talking about making music. Now, as I said, we have 2 types of sounds, the definite and the indefinite. And we are interested in the definite sounds, those sounds for making music. When it comes to the definite sounds, there are 12 of them, 12. So it means that every music you hear in this world, when you break the music down in terms of the sound you are hearing, you can put them into 12 notes, 12 notes, 12 notes. Now, all the 12 notes have names, and the names have been given to them because we want to easily identify those notes. So you can easily call this note and that note, and then you get it. So, for instance, if you take a simple song like Mary Had a Little Lamb, let's do this. If you take a song like this, if we break the song down into how I was able to play it, it is just a combination of sounds. And all those sounds, they have names. Now, you as the musician, when you are able to identify those sounds and you are able to tell the differences, this sound from this sound, you can easily make music on any instrument, because if I am on the keyboard and I play this same phrase, I can easily transfer it to the guitar, and I will play the same thing on the guitar. For instance, let me give you an example. So, whatever sound I play on the keyboard, I can play the same thing on the guitar because it is the same thing. Trust me, it is the same thing. So, on the keyboard, if I play, when I come on the guitar, I can play the same thing. And that is because if I break the song down, I know the pitch or the sound that I used to play on the keyboard and the sound that I used to play on the guitar. And I'll explain that to you in a bit. Now look at this. This is what we call solfege or solfa notation. I have some colors on the screen. All the ones in red, all the colors in red. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, and do. Now, the last do is the same as the first do. The last do, it is the same as the first do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, if you are able to memorize these 12 sounds, if you are able to memorize them, in other words, if you are able to internalize these sounds and reproduce, you can easily play any instrument of your choice. If you are really serious, you are really committed to it, you can easily play, because it is just transfer of knowledge from one instrument to the other. Look at this one. Look at this one. 6 importance of solfege. Solfege na simple. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and one, do, re, mi. So listen, if you're able to get your solfege right, the solfa notations, if you're able to get all of them right, the first one is that identifying notes of tunes, that is musical phrases, become easier. It becomes easy. Now listen to something. For instance, you were listening to a song and then you heard this in the song. Listen to it again. You are listening to a song and then you heard this in there. If you have knowledge on solfege and you know what you are listening to, you can easily know that the sound that you heard is mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do. In other words, mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do. So if you are learning the music and you don't even have any instrument with you, you will easily know that what the sound I listen to is mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do. Now, if you go on the guitar and you want to play the same thing you heard, you can easily do mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do, because you know what you have heard and you understand the sound you have heard. You know what you have heard and you understand the sound that you have heard. And that is what I'm talking about. So learning songs become very easy. If you are a bass guitarist, if you are a bassist, and you have to learn a new bass line, you are listening to the song and you have to learn the new bass line. Once you know the solfege, the solfa notations, and you are listening to the song, you will easily know that this part is mi, this is fa, this is so, this is re, this is la, and then you will easily learn it and play. So one of the importance of learning solfege is that when you are identifying the notes to a musical phrase, it becomes very easy, very easy. Now, two, communication in music becomes easier. When I talk about communication in music, this is what I mean. You are a bass guitarist. You are going to play a gig with a keyboardist and then a guitarist. Now, assuming you have never played with them, and then the music you are going to play, you the bassist, you don't even know the song. You can easily ask the keyboardist, Charlie, this song we are going to play, give me the root note, or just give me the solfege, give me the solfege to the song. And the keyboardist can tell you, oh, the bass line, just do so, do, fa, and mi. So he can tell you that, oh, for the bass line, just do so, do, fa, mi. And then once you understand, once you know the notes, you can easily go on your bass guitar and play the thing live. So, do, fa, mi. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our target. That is what we are looking at. That is where we are going. We want to get to know the solfege well. We want to, that's why at the beginning, I showed you the first slide that says, we want to identify the solfege, the sounds, all the 12 sounds. We want to be able to identify them easily. One. Two, we want to be able to internalize the sounds. In other words, we will imbibe the sounds to to the extent that the keyboard crane, if there's no keyboard, if there's no guitar, if there's no instrument, you can still identify those sounds and still make meaning, still make music. And then the third one is adapt. Now you start using it. That is our target. That is our target. So you can pick any song and then you break it down by yourself. You sing the solfege. Look at it. Music composition becomes relatively easier when you are composing music. It becomes easier because now you will understand what you are doing. For instance, if you write a musical phrase, that is a short sentence with a short, maybe, for instance, a musical phrase could be like, Dana se. That's a phrase. Da onyame na se. That's a phrase, a musical phrase. Or something like, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. That is a musical phrase. Now, music composition will become easy because you now know the ingredients that you are using. You now know that for this song that I'm writing, for this first part, I am using do, I am using mi, I am using fa, and I am using so. Now the second part, I am not repeating myself, but I am going to make it slightly change. Some people, do you know that some people will write a song, they can write like 3 songs. And as soon as you listen to all the 3 songs, you know that it is from the same person because they are all very similar. Very, very similar. As a matter of fact, some people will compose 3 songs. You listen to the first one. They will not give you the names of the composer. You listen to the first one, the second one, the third one, and you know that, this song is from the same person because it sounds the same. There is no variation. And this is not to castigate them in any way. Some of them, it is their writing style. They will say that, I want to write such a way that as soon as somebody hears the song, the person knows that it is me. So some of them will deliberately write the songs to be similar so that when somebody listens to the song, the person knows that, oh, it is from this person. And so some of them, it's very deliberate. But sometimes it is just good to bring some variety in there. And so when you understand solfege, you are able to do your music compositions very, very, very easily. Now, improvisation becomes easier. Improvisation becomes easier. When I talk about improvisation, I'm breaking it down. Improvisation simply means playing, being given a portion in the music to express yourself. Enti eno na yebe friend no say solo, ya ma solo sebo. If you are an instrumentalist, you have been given a place in the song to just express yourself, and that is improvisation. So for instance, I want everyone to understand. That's why I pick very common songs. That is why I pick very common songs. Please, people are still coming in. That is why I keep on checking the number of people. Improvisation, for instance. Then they give you a room to improvise. You can do or you can easily, if it's a solo, you can easily do you are just expressing yourself, but you know what you are playing. You are improvising, but you know what you are playing. For instance, if I am supposed to sing what I am playing, listen to this. Do ti la zi ti la mi fa re do ti la mi fa so la do re mi so la do ti la zi ti la mi fa re do ti la. Whatever I am playing, I am singing because it is not spontaneous. If what I'm doing is spontaneous, yes, but I know what I'm doing. I know the note I want to play, and that is why I play that. So if I do do, okay, do mi so fa la, do mi so re fa la, mi so ti fa la do. I know what I'm playing. It's in my head. I sing it in my head. I say the solfa in my head and I play. So if you get to understand the solfa, improvisation becomes very easy. You are easily able to improvise in any song. Now, movement in music are understood better. As I said, movement in music will become easier. Listen to this. Do mi so re fa la mi so ti fa la do so ti re la do mi ti re fa do mi so mi do fa re ti mi do la re ti so do la fa ti so mi la fa re so mi do. These are movements. When you understand the solfes and you are able to identify them, you can easily do this, easily. And that is our target. Our target is that we want to understand the solfa notations to the point that we can easily reproduce them. We will understand what we are playing. Finally, playing different instruments become easier, way easier. Playing different instruments become very, very, very easy because it is the same knowledge that you are transferring. Now, this I have already talked about, but listen to this. All we are doing is that we are trying to develop what we call in music relative pitch. Relative pitch. As I said, I'm not going to bore you with jargons. Relative pitch is just being able to relate one sound to the other. So that if I play two sounds, even if you don't have a keyboard and you just hear these two sounds, you will know that the sound you have listened to is do, fa. Or if you hear sounds like so, mi, you easily know it. Sorry, you easily know it. Now, if you want to be very good at identifying the tones easily, Unya said this sound is this one. Unya said this sound is this one. If you want to be very good at identifying tones, you must be a very good listener. And that is what we call active listening. You must be an active listener. You must be an active listener. In other words, you must not just be a passive listener. You must make the conscious effort that I am listening to this sound. So you must listen and listen very well. Because if you want to be able to identify the sound, the solfa notations, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, if you want to identify them easily, you will have to be a very good listener. Internalization, if you want to be able to imbibe the sound, you want to commit the sound to memory, you want to have the sound in you so that you can easily reproduce. For instance, if somebody tells you, oh, play so, fa, mi, so, la, so, fa, mi, so, la, without a keyboard, without anything, you can easily do so, fa, mi, so, la, so, fa, mi, so, la, because you know what you are doing. So, fa, mi, so, la. If somebody tells you to play do, so, mi, do, la, fa, re, I'm even singing it already. Do, so, mi, do, la, fa, re. You can easily do, so, mi, do, la, fa, re, and then you are good to go. Now, the last one is adaptation. Apart from internalizing, apart from being able to identify the sound, and apart from imbibing the sound, you must start using the sound, making use of the sound. So if you're an instrumentalist, you start making use of the solfa notations, start making use of them. And that is our target. Listen, the more you practice, the more you get it. And look at my next slide. And that is why I have done it plenty. I said, never ever forget this. The more you practice, the better you become. This one, it does not come in a day. Being able to identify the solfes, being able to listen to them and to reproduce and to do, it does not come in a day. It comes by practice. But if you are serious with it, ladies and gentlemen, in a short time, you can easily get it. So this is the slide. I said, the more you practice, the better you become. The more you practice, the better you become. Please never forget this. This is not magic. There are great musicians who practice. For instance, there are lots of people, somebody like Richard Bona, the Cameroonian bass guitarist, currently one of the best guitarists, bassists in the world. He says that he wakes up to rehearsal. Sometimes he rehearses 15 hours a day. 15 hours a day. Now they should day no 24 hours no. We 15 female bekazeng. Inti ni aka no 9 hours na aka no or the bida or the bididi or the be any obeying na 15 hours rehearsal. So people are doing rehearsals and they are doing marvelous things. Or no sano. When you go and you see him in performance, you know that yes, this is a great musician playing. So please, we are not going to take rehearsals lightly. We will take rehearsals seriously. Now listen to this. If you want to be very good in your music profession, whether as a novice, as a beginner, or as a professional, as a pro, you must not take practice lightly. You must always practice. And so this thing, listen, look at the advantages that we talked about. If you want to get all these advantages, and it is very possible, very, very possible, please, let's be serious and learn the solfege. Let us identify them. Let us be able to commit them to memory. Let us reproduce them easily, because it will help us as musicians. It has helped me. I think that it is the more reason I'm able to easily switch instruments. That is because I can identify the sounds even without a keyboard. And it is slightly different from absolute pitch, which maybe we'll talk about that later. That is called perfect pitch or absolute pitch. Absolute pitch is when you hear a sound and you know that, oh, this is A. You hear a sound and you know, oh, this is D. But we are not talking about that. We are talking about relative pitch. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to get all these benefits from solfa notations, we must practice more and we will get better. Now it is practice time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to practice what we have heard right now for a few minutes, maybe just about 5 minutes. So at this juncture, wherever you are, you will do some. Whatever I will do here, you will do some. Now, this is it. If you want to get better at what you do, at the solfa notations, you must always practice. And I'm going to give you the first practice to get better at solfa notation so that you can easily identify notes. You will easily know that this is do, this is mi, this is so, this is fa, this is la, and you will easily know it. And I will make the presentation, I'll make a few people sing very short phrases. Then we will all decide to tell what notes they are in terms of solfa notation. So I'll make you sing anything. I'll get maybe 2 volunteers. You will sing anything very short. Then we will tell you the notes that make up that. And it is not magic. It is just practice, more practice, more practice. So at this time, it is practice time. Every sound you hear, that is why it is called relative pitch. To easily get it, you will always relate the sound you hear to one particular note, and that note is called the root note or the tonic. Please let me explain this tonic again, and I'll give you an example so you understand it. The tonic, T-O-N-I-C, tonic. There's a reason why it is called tonic. The tonic is the key in which the music is in. The musical phrase, whatever you are listening to, it always has a key. And that is what we call the tonic. It is the central key around which all the tones are formed. When in I'm going to explain it easily. For instance, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The tonic is do, and I say do, the same thing. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The trick is that always memorize that first do. Try to get it in your memory. Do, do. Once you get this note in your memory, even if you close your eyes and somebody plays, for instance, I'm not looking at what I'm playing, and I've closed my eyes. This is do. I have this in memory. So if I play any other note, without even looking, I know that I have played so. That is because I can relate that sound to this first one, which is the tonic. So ladies and gentlemen, the tonic is very, very important when you want to identify these notes. So this first exercise is for every one of us. We are all going to do this first exercise, and this is what we are going to do. I am going to play the major solfa, and I'm talking about major solfas because I am talking about do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, because there are additional ones like do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, do, ti, do. These ones are there. But for the start, we are not going to go into what we call the chromatic scale. No, we are not going to do that. Yeah, chromatic scale answer. Forget about chromatic scale. We are doing what we call the major scale, the major scale in tonic solfa. And as I said, you need the tonic, which is the first note. So ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, let's all do this exercise. We are going to do from do to do, and then we'll come back to do. I'm going to do it for the first time, and trust me, if you practice this and you practice this every day, you are going to improve in a
Are you listening to what he's saying?
Look at this one. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. So I am singing it twice, and then the last one, I end on the tonic. And the reason is that you want the tonic to register in your mind. So you play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. If the key should change, for instance, we go to another key like this. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. So ladies and gentlemen, we are all going to try this. Sorry. We are all going to try this in the key of C. Every one of you who is watching me right now, plus myself, we are going to sing it because we need to sing and get the. Some of you, you don't even know the proper arrangement of the solfege. As in, you don't know that re will come after do, so will come after so will come after fa, la will come after so, and all that. So we just want to get the arrangement correct, and then we want to get the right tone, the right pitch before we move on. So this is the practical introduction I'm introducing you to. This is the first one. Every one of you, we are doing a C. I'm going to do it first. Then we all do it together. We are going to do it for like 4 or 5 times. And then I break. Then we zoom into the question and answer time. So listen to this. Do in the key of C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. I'm going to do it again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. This is so that you are able to identify the tonic. That is why we always end on the tonic. Because when you are identifying the notes, it becomes easier if you are able to relate the note to the tonic. And the tonic will change with the key. Let's not even go into that. So every one of you, wherever you are, let us do this. We are going to sing the solfa notations, do, do, and back to do. Please get involved. And then listen, don't take this exercise for granted. It is very serious. It is a great exercise for the beginner. It is a great way to start learning solfa notation. It is a very great way to start identifying and internalizing and reproducing solfa notation. So if you're ready, let's do this. It's practice time. Let's all try this. Tonic, do, ready, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, fa, sol, la, ti, do. One more time. Go. Do, re,
mi, fa, sol,
re.
It's confusing me.
We are all singing at different times because
Yes, yes. And when you are do, somebody's at re. When you are re,
it's because of the network.
exactly
It's because of the network.
you can all
My do is somebody's.
you can all mute your sound. You can all mute your sounds, and let's do it without the sound. That one you can
okay.
hear my sound, and then you follow.
Yes, yes.
So let's all
I think it's better.
or let me mute all of you from here. So we are going to do it again. Lord, oh, somebody came back. Do. This is the root note. Do. So we are going. Ready? Go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. Great, 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 great. Oh, somebody's battery is running down. Okay, so listen. This is what you are going to do. Everything I have told you now, it is just the introduction. As you saw from the title, The Magic of Solfege 101. So this is just the introduction. Now listen to this. We have designed a special package for every one of you who is interested in pursuing solfa notation, getting it well and applying it. If you really want to develop your music career, it is very good for you. Now listen, I have titled it 30 to Magic. 30 to Magic simply means I am going to interact with you on one-on-one basis for 30 days. And it's one-on-one. It is not everybody like this. It is myself and yourself, one-on-one. For 30 days. And for all the 30 days, I will interact with you. And this is what I'll do. Every day in the 30 days, I'll give you a task to do. And the task is very simple. I'll give you a musical phrase. And then you will try and identify the notes in there. I will have a first meeting with you, the first day that begins the 30 days. And I will show you a few tricks to identify them one-on-one. You can ask all your questions, you can do all you want to ask, then you get it. Then after that, I give you your task for the first day. So every day, I'll give you a task. I'll give you a musical phrase. You will find it and you let me know. A bar, I will tell you whether you are right or you are wrong. If you are wrong, we will find out why you got it wrong, and then we will correct it. If you are right, then I give you your second task and we move on. So it means that for 30 days, I am going to give you 30 tasks. In other words, I'll give you 30 musical phrases to find, and then I'll help you solve all of them. Trust me, by the end of the 30 days, your magic will start happening. You will see the improvement and the value you yourself you have added. Now, everything I am doing right now, everything I have said, I have recorded everything. Everything is recorded. This presentation has been recorded. So from the beginning to now, everything is recorded. Once you are part of the 30 days, I will give you this video that you are watching. You can watch it over and over again. If you don't understand something I said, ask me, I will explain. I'll give you this video. Then the slide I presented, maybe I went too fast, I couldn't go through everything. I'll give you the slide also. So you can take your time and go through everything in the slide. You can also take your time and go through this video and listen to everything we have done, we have said. If you have questions, we dissect and we go about it. Then I'll give you your task for the 30 days. Every day, I will interact with you. Every day, I will interact with you. I'll send you, you'll do it, you send me. By any means, if you want WhatsApp video, we can do that. If you want Zoom, we can do that. If you want Google Meet, we can do that. So it is just interaction. Whatever task I give you, you will do it and you give it back to me. So I'll give you this video, I'll give you the slide, and then I'll interact with you for the next 30 days. And that is the package I have titled 30 to Magic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this package 30 to Magic, it is not free. That is the simple truth. It is not free. It's going to be on one-on-one basis. If you prefer Zoom, we will do that. If you prefer WhatsApp video call or Google Meet or any other one, Telegram, we can do that. As I said, I will give you this video, go through it, understand it. I will give you the slide I presented, go through it, try and understand it. Then every day, I will have an interaction with you for 30 days. Every day, I will give you a task every day. But an interaction with you like this, I will meet you the first time and then the next 3 times. So it means that I'm going to meet you 4 times in person, face to face like this. But every day we will interact because I'll give you a task and you give me the answer. Then I'll tell you what is wrong, what is not wrong, what is right and all that. And then we take it. Please, do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that this package is not free. So at this juncture, I have talked enough. I am going to open the floor for every one of you. If you have any question at all with what I said, ask me. I'll do my best to explain to you so that you understand. And then we will take it from there. So at this juncture, if you have a question, you can come in now. If it is from the slide, if it's from the exercises, this is just the first exercise that I have introduced you to. In the 30 to Magic, you are going to get a lot of other exercises that is going to help you to develop the solfege faster. And all the importance we said, it will help you. So ladies and gentlemen, ask your questions now. If you have a question, you can ask.
My question, well, I don't have a question. My question will be directed to you. I have enjoyed the show. I just want to tell you that I have enjoyed the show.
Yes, I have a question.
Hello. Okay, please ask your question. Please mention your name so I know who is on the floor.
Okay. Okay, this is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, okay. Emmanuel, please ask your question.
The 30 days, is it only going to be virtual?
Yes, virtual. It's virtual because Charlie, in this
So,
COVID era.
okay, that's it.
Yes. Okay. So any other question, any other contribution?
I have a question, Mr. Asa. I am asking, there was an encounter I had that an instrumentalist was able to tell the key somebody is playing in, even without playing the keyboard or going close to a musical instrument. And I want to ask, are you able to do that? And how is a person able to do that?
Okay.
Because it looks like it's magical.
Yes.
That without a musical instrument,
Yes,
an instrumentalist is able to tell the key a musician is singing in or playing in. How does it happen?
That's what.
All right, thank you.
It is called. Thank you for your question, Andy. It is called absolute pitch or perfect pitch. It is the same thing. Absolute pitch or perfect pitch. That is when somebody is able to straightforward tell you that this note is A, this note is E, this note is F, this note is G, this note is C sharp, B flat, it is. Now, absolute pitch, there are a lot of theories about absolute pitch. People say that there are special people who are born with that ability. They say that who are naturally born with it. But others also say that everybody is born with that ability. Everybody. The only thing is that you must harness and develop it at the beginning of your life. In fact, some theories have it that even before they give birth to you, if your parents introduce you to music and sounds, even before they give birth to you, you may be able to pick that up. Now, other theories are saying that that thing, if you go beyond 2 years and you have not been trained, 2 years or a baby, 2 years, and you have not been trained, you will never get it. That is what some people that is what some people say. But listen, I have also read people, a guy who was 22 years and he did not know anything about that. And he has his own tricks and all that. What he does is that it's strange. He attaches colors to the tone. So for instance, when he hears do, he will imagine a red, maybe a red color red. When he hears re, he will imagine color yellow. So in his mind, he is listening to the sound, but he's picturing colors. That is according to his how he works around it. So once he hears,
This is weird.
yes, it is weird, but it is working for some people. So
I tell you.
perfect pitch or absolute pitch is there. And then relative pitch, what we are interested in, relative pitch, where you relate one note to the other, is also there. But to me, if you ask me, I think that they are all very important. But I think the relative pitch has an upper hand over the perfect pitch, the one you are saying, because you are able to get your relative pitch right. You may not necessarily get the key that this is A, this is B, this is C. But in terms of what you are playing, defining the musical phrase, whatever you hear, you will know that, for instance, sing any phrase, sing any short thing in any short musical phrase, Andy, any short thing.
Yeshirawo asafu Yehowa, uye kron, kron, kron.
So you sang,
Is it okay?
so, la, 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 so, for me,
Everything.
yes, it's
What key was that?
Come again.
What key was that?
Jane for God, G major.
Oh, great. Okay.
Actually, you are very good. I like your voice.
Oh.
So you see, so it's good to develop the relative pitch. It can easily help.
Yeah.
It can easily help you to do a lot of compositions and all that, especially when you even want to learn an instrument or you want to switch an instrument. You can easily do. Okay, please, is there any other question?
Yes, but I must congratulate you. You've done really well with this initiative. We are all going to be part.
Hello, Mr. Andrews.
Yes, boss.
Hello, Mr. Andrews.
Yes, boss, I can hear you.
Please, where are you? We don't even know where you are.
Okay. All right. So I did not properly introduce myself. My name is Andrew Asankansa. Andrew Asankansa. I am part of Kwampa band. It's a palm wine band. If you know Kwampa. Something.
Oh yeah.
Last year.
And you're a Pujuba.
Of course. Joe Kalala. And I yes.
I forgot to know.
Before being part of the band, I have done music in different areas. I have moved around small and music here and there, bits and pieces of before eventually Kwampa and all that. For those of you who are not aware, Kwampa is a palm wine band. Last year, we won the VGMA Traditional Artist of the Year at the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. And then even this year, we have been nominated in the Group of the Year category, Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. So that is that. But I mean, that's just by the way. Music is what we do. So I'm just interested in other people who really want to do music to do it and do it well. So guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for spending your Monday night with me. I am grateful. Very soon I'll call for another class and then we'll come again. Every one of you have a good night. Have a great day. Thank you so much.